Hello YouTubers. I'm going to show you today how to get cloudiness and haziness out of plastic factory headlights. As you can see, this headlight out of a 2005 Silverado, it's got a little bit of haze to it. We're going to restore that to factory new condition. What we have here is some 600 grit wet or dry sandpaper. What you want to do is you want to keep the sandpaper nice and wet, get your headlight nice and wet, and then start sanding in a circular motion. What this is going to do is this is going to remove the oxidized parts, the oxidation from the front of the headlight. You'll want to sand in a circular motion. That prevents you from seeing any of your sanding marks when you're finished. As you sand, you're going to notice that the water starts to turn cloudy, milky almost. That's good. That's actually the plastic coming off of the headlight. You want to remove the damaged, discolored part of the headlight, and that'll reveal crystal clear plastic underneath that. As you sand, as you can see, you want to keep the sandpaper nice and wet, plenty of water on the headlight, and just keep sanding until the headlight looks quite clear when it's wet. As you can see, I'm avoiding the edges of the headlight. You don't want to sand right on the edge or on a corner of a headlight, as that'll create more work for you later on. We sped this up a little bit so it's not so boring for you. It's a little tedious, but just keep sanding in a circular motion. Now when you get to the point where when it's wet it looks fairly clear, you'll see, you can see almost what you want it to look like. When you get to that point, you'll take your sandpaper, you're going to wet it down again, and instead of sanding in a circular motion, you're going to go in a horizontal motion. That doesn't help clarity at all. What it does is the clear coat you're going to put on later, it gives it something to stick to. If you have vertical sanding marks, it allows the clear coat a path to run down, and you don't want that. Then you have to start over. So continuing with your 600 grit sandpaper, just keep sanding, and what you're doing is you're getting out all of the circular motions. If you just sanded horizontally to begin with, there are the different angles of how it's corroded, how it's oxidized. You won't get all of it out, and you'll get almost a scaly look. So you'll want to sand circular and then sand horizontal. When it starts to look quite clear and you're satisfied with how it's coming along, you're going to want to move to a 2000 grit sandpaper. If the headlights are quite bad and you have a lot of scratches that you put in with your 600, you can use 1500 and then move up to the 2000. We didn't have that problem with the set of headlights, so we just used 2000. Again, keep your sandpaper wet and sand in a circular motion. Now that you're using your 2000 grit, you can use a little bit more pressure. You don't want to get real carried away, but you can use a little bit more pressure to help speed up the process. Speaking of speeding up the process, we'll speed up the video. Again, as you sand, you're going to see the water turn milky or cloudy. That's perfectly normal and that's fine. The 2000 grit, all that does is that helps remove all of the sanding marks that you put in from the 600. If you were to just clear over the 600, you would see your sanding marks when you got done with the clear coat. So this will remove all of the sanding marks that the 600 left. You can hit all of the edges just to remove any accidental scratches that you did put in by chance. Now we'll slow down the video again. You want to sand until the headlight looks nice and clear with your 2000 grit. Once you feel that you've reached the clarity that you're looking for, you can start sanding again in a horizontal motion. As you sand in a horizontal motion, this gets rid of the circular 2000 grit marks that you have left in the headlight. This again gives the clear coat something to stick to and encourages it to not run. Again, you can use a little bit more pressure than you did with the 600 grit. We'll speed the video up a little bit. And as you can see, the water still turns a little bit milky, and that's perfectly normal. You also want to work along the edges where you may have accidentally left a scratch or two from your 600 grit. The 2000 grit is fairly forgiving to work with. Now, once you notice that the headlight is turning very clear, you can stop and you feel that you have all of the 2000 circular motions out. Take a clean rag, wet it, and wipe the headlight down. This will give you a rough idea of what the headlight is going to look like once it's clear coated. If you're satisfied with your results, wipe the headlight dry, and then it is ready for clear coat. As you can see, the headlights are quite foggy. This is from the 2000 grit. This is perfectly normal, and this is the effect that you want. The first thing you're going to want to do is clean the headlights up. You want to remove any wax or grease or handprints that you have left from handling or working with the headlights. You'll want to use a rubbing alcohol or a plastic cleaner. Rubbing alcohol is the same product that I'm using here. Liberally apply some to a rag, and you're going to wipe down the headlights. You want to remove any sorts of grease that may be attached to them. Any grease you have on there will ruin your clear coat, and you'll have to start over. Make sure that your rag is clean. Move on to your second headlight. After you wipe the headlights down, make certain to not to touch any part of the clear lens. Your fingerprint will ruin your paint job. Now take a clean rag, and you're going to want to wipe the headlights down. This will remove any excess rubbing alcohol or plastic cleaner. As it evaporates, you'll see the headlights turn cloudy, back to the way they were after you got done sanding them. This is perfectly normal. Now for clear coat, we're using an inexpensive jobber clear. This is a polyurethane clear with a hardener. We mix this 4-to-1. I attempted to mix it on the camera, but it didn't turn out too well. This is a automotive style clear coat that you would put over a base coat style paint. Any rattle can gloss clear will work just as well, rather than mixing up automotive style paint if that's not a viable option for you. Just quickly, what I'm doing here is I'm mixing this on a 4-to-1 scale. What I did is I filled the clear up to the 3 line. I'll point it out right here. I filled it up to the 3 line. Now in the next bar, we're using the 4-to-1 scale here. I filled it up to 3. The next bar is a 3. That's how much hardener you'll mix in. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, so we'll just skip over that. You can always check your text sheet or search online for your text sheet. Mix your clear up, which I stirred it off camera. Sure. I'm using an HVLP gun here, and this is an inexpensive gun that we got at a local shop. Seems to work quite well. Now in this gun, I'm running 40 to 42 PSI. I wanted to run that level of air to keep out any orange peel, and that will affect the headlight quality and projection on the road. Now when you spray these, obviously you want to get the fronts, but you also want to get the edges that you can see. The bottom edges are covered by a piece of trim, so we're not too concerned about that, but right around the edges is where we really wanted to spray. And simply, you're just going to put on a nice, wet coat of clear. Make sure that you can't see any dry spots, any sandy type areas. I had a little dry spot on the corner of that headlight, so I just touched it up. And now we put our gun down and we wait. Let the clear coat dry for approximately 10 to 15 minutes, and you're ready for coat 2. Now we'll come back. This is about 10 minutes later. You can see I can touch the paint. It feels tacky, but the paint will not come off on my finger. So then you know it's ready for coat 2. I'm still running 42 PSI here. And we'll get our gun ready, because we didn't have the air hose on because we're prepared. And once again, a nice wet coat. Make sure you get all of your edges. I almost forgot the indicator lamp side over there. You can see it's dry right here and a little dry spot right there. So since it's wet, we'll just mist it right in and you're good to go. This is what you're going to see, or this is what the headlight's going to look like when you're done. And since you clear coated them, now you won't have any more oxidation or yellowing. So this is supposed to be good for the life of the headlight. Thanks for watching.